political and public institutions articulate policies tailored towards achieving developmental objectives in the various sectors of our national life. The implementation
NTA International News.
President Buhari receives letters of credence from 3 new ambassadors. Deputy Senate President assures Republic of South Korea of addressing lingering concerns over business interests. President UN Security for the month of August intensify consultations on Nigeria's thematic debates. It's good to have you join us on NTA International News. I'm Taiwo Odubeson. We're starting off with a report from the State House. President Muhammadu Buhari this Thursday received letters of credence from 3 new ambassadors accredited to Nigeria. This has formally granted them diplomatic status. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The new ambassadors include Mr. Andrzej Duda of Poland, Stanislas Karamzi of Rwanda, and Stefanie Deloqueras of Belgium. Receiving the ambassadors' credentials at a colorful diplomatic ceremony to mark their official commencement of duties in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari promised to work with them to give a new impetus to comprehensive relations between Nigeria and their countries. He said the federal government will continuously engage with them and other diplomats serving in Nigeria on issues of common interest and benefits. The president expressed the hope that diplomatic and economic ties between Nigeria and their respective countries will be substantially enhanced. He told the envoys that the Nigerian business environment and the community are quite vibrant and ready to be explored. The new ambassadors assured the president that they will work hard to enhance and strengthen the cordial relations existing between Nigeria and their countries. President Muhammadu Buhari also received in audience representatives of all the ambassadors of African countries serving in Nigeria. The mission was to congratulate him over his victory at the last general elections in the country.
His election was really a turning point, not only for Nigeria but for the sub-region and Africa as a whole.
The ambassadors also carried to the presidential villa a message of solidarity, sympathy and support of the African ambassadors to the Buhari administration in the fight against Boko Haram.
The battle which is now fought in Nigeria against terrorism is the one which is fought on behalf of all Africans. So we are of the view that Nigeria is steadily winning the war and that peace, stability and prosperity will ultimately prevail.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who expressed delight over the show of support and understanding, restated the resolve of his administration to work closely with the neighboring countries towards eliminating insurgency and terrorism as soon as possible. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
From the National Assembly comes a report that Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has assured the Republic of Korea of Nigeria's commitment towards addressing some lingering concerns of the country's business interests as well as pending issues in the oil and gas sector. It was while receiving the ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Nigeria, Nok Yun-duk, in his office in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nani reports.
Commending the Republic of Korea for its support towards the socio-economic development of Nigeria, especially in the areas of education, information and communication technology, agriculture and manpower development, Senator Ekweremadu called for more South Korean investments in Nigeria. He also noted that more effort is being made by the Nigerian government to boost infrastructure and make the nation's business environment conducive for investors. Expressing the hope that the new leadership of the National Assembly will propel the parliamentary relations of both countries. The ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Nigeria, Nam Kyun-duk, reiterated the need for a greater economic cooperation to further strengthen the bilateral ties between Nigeria and South Korea. He also said that Nigeria's market potentials should be harnessed for the benefit of both countries. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nani, NTA News.
Still on the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has commended the federal government for commencing the implementation of the United Nations Environmental Programme report, which recommended the cleaning of all polluted areas in Ogoniland. The House also resolved to advise the federal government to check illegal routes into the country to curb activities of terrorists. Details in a subsequent bulletin. The President of the United Nations Security Council for the month of August, Professor Joy Ogu, has intensified consultations with members of the body in preparation for the debates in the coming days. Joy Osiago has the details of the thematic discourse for the period.
Professor Joy Ogu had bilateral meetings with members of the Security Council to present the program of work for analysis and endorsement. Worthy of note are three thematic debates for the month of August. One is on peace and security in Africa with a focus on Ebola. The essence is to examine the role of the regional and sub-regional organizations in fighting the epidemic. The responsibility of territorial organizations in the maintenance of international peace and security is also on the scale of preference. The Security Council strongly holds the view that the regions should be the first responders to the challenge of international peace and safety, considering the dynamics and conflicts peculiar to the regions. On the maintenance of international peace and security sector reform will occupy the minds of members as a follow-up to Nigeria's presidency of the Council in April 2014. From the United Nations headquarters in New York, Joy Osiago.
Now to legal matters. Following the continuous increase in pre-trial detainees across the country, a public-private sector partnership has been struck to fight the trend. The partnership is between the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria and NGOs that are into prison decongestion. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okeowo reports.
Nigerians have heard so much about the congestion of our prisons, but know very little about the other detention centers spread across the country, like police cells. This collaboration is to expose and eventually decongest such centers, particularly when the detention centers deny their inmates their right to trials. The Legal Aid Council is the governmental arm of such assistance to helpless people. There are several other non-governmental bodies that do the same. They all came together in Abuja to chart a common cause for this battle.
It's definitely an excellent opportunity for NGOs to provide legal aid services to partner with the government, because one of the big challenges for pretrial detention in Nigeria, as in many federal states, is the question of coordination.
It is expected that the public-private partnership will provide additional lawyers to enhance the 273 lawyers provided by the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria to accelerate the trial and possible freedom of pre-trial detainees.
It's a holistic approach to a better legal aid system in Nigeria.
In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. For a recap of the top stories, you heard that President Muhammadu Buhari has received letters of credence from 3 new ambassadors accredited to Nigeria, formally granting them diplomatic status. We also told you that the Deputy Senate President has assured South Korea that Nigeria is committed towards addressing some lingering concerns of the country's business interests as well as pending issues in the oil and gas sector. Stay with us, we will be right back.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't influence.
In continuation of the discourse on crude oil theft in Nigeria, guests on NTA's flagship program Good Morning Nigeria say, though the laws against oil theft exists, there is the need for culprits to be prosecuted to serve as deterrent to others. Abdul Malik Adio tells us more.
Arising from the discussion, it was alleged that Nigeria loses between $15 to $20 million daily from crude oil theft, translating to 400,000 barrels or 2,000 trailer tankers daily. The second part of today's discussion enumerated measures to curb the menace.
If they were arrested, there is the need to dispense of these cases on time, and of course, sanctions must be meted out as soon as possible. That is one way that could serve as a deterrent to these would-be ship owners who think melting around Nigerian waters is like a privilege. Whoever is producing the crude differs from whoever is moving it through the pipeline. So the responsibility of those who manage the pipeline, a company, that is their core responsibility, their core duty to manage the pipeline.
Former Minister of Transport Ibrahim Isabu says sophisticated equipment should be procured to check the nation's waterways.
If Nigeria at this stage cannot have systems that are being applied all over the world to identify vessels coming into our territorial water, either by NIMASA or by Nigerian Navy or by Nigerian Air Force, is very unfortunate.
There were also contributions on the dealing with the alleged connivance between the oil thieves and the security agencies charged with the responsibility of monitoring the waterways.
You come to find any of my members alleged to be involved, and we have said clearly here over time that if any member of NUPENG is being found wanting in terms of going into vandalizing warehouses and crude oil lines, should be arrested and prosecuted.
If there is a conspiracy theory, because there is unpatriotic attitude on the part of those responsible for mining all these things, there's a deliberate effort to sabotage the system and cause a national leakage.
The discussion also called for the adoption of international best practices in the nation's maritime sector. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Adio, NTA News.
Nigerian Television Authority NTA has unveiled a scheme designed to support government's desire to bridge the housing deficit in Nigeria. Anthony Forsen tells us more.
Thank you so much.
That was the official unveiling of the NTA Property Connect, an international property magazine which is a collection of plans, properties and building materials for homes and offices. The idea is to avail the right information about the developmental efforts of real estate companies, mortgage institutions, interior decorators and all components that fall within a building process.
Was established to really take charge and help with the procurement of real estate, first of all for NTA personnel directly, but then take advantage of the boom in the industry to also be a supplier to people outside of the NTA.
Representative of the Speaker, House of Representatives, and that of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Information, all spoke, commending NTA's foresight in floating the scheme.
I want to appreciate the effort of those behind this position. NTA Property Investment Company is the primary obligation is to use the housing needs of NTA staff and members of the public. And we made magazines also in our personal and official capacities, and on to support visibility and profitable journalism.
The occasion was attended by professionals from building and real estate management sectors as well as financial institutions, all ready to key into the NTA scheme, describing it as a well-thought-out plan to help reduce housing deficit in the country. Now this magazine is an added value to the staff, because no matter what you are doing in the world, one day you would like to work and you want to sleep. This will assist the staff, and this will boost the morale of the staff. So I'm looking at quality affordable houses at a reasonable price that is affordable, looking at what our people are paid as salaries. Within their salaries, they must be able to pay for their houses. For drivers of the scheme, this is a new dawn for housing and real estate in Nigeria. News.
Now to politics. The Inter-Party Advisory Council has urged actors in the Labour Party crisis to shift their thoughts and work for the stability of democracy and good governance in Nigeria. This was at a peace mission to the Labour Party Secretariat in Abuja. Chinedu Obike has the report.
At the Labour Party Secretariat, which was alleged to have been under siege previously, all was calm and normal. The Inter-Party Advisory Council team, led by its chairman, Dr. Yunus Otanko, said it was important for the political class to close ranks and avoid tendencies that may work against democracy and good governance in Nigeria.
We want to advise strongly that anything that happens to any political party happen to all of us. And that IPAC is even pledged to protect the interests of all the political parties. The visit also visit, and look at issues from a broad perspective and provide solutions and resolving the crisis in a very fast way.
The national chairman of Labour Party, Abdul Salam Abdul Kadri, gave assurance that all was well and thanked the council for its intervention. The crisis erupted as a result of misunderstanding between the Labour Party and some interest groups. In Abuja, Chinedu Obike, NTA News.
In politics, the social media has been identified as a powerful tool for championing the cause of the physically challenged persons and a tool for expanding their civic engagement. This was at a one-day training for the disabled on how to maximize the use of the social media. Muplan Dekok reports that it was organized by the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria in collaboration with Cedar Seed Foundation, a non-governmental organization.
With a population of over 170 million Nigerians, about 20 million are said to be living with one form of disability or the other. This number, experts say, indicates that there is a need to involve the physically challenged in all civic engagements and government policies. They suggested that one of the ways to raise this awareness is through the use of the social media. Social media as a tool to advocate on our issues, disability issues like accessibility, medical health facilities, education.
Because I would like to learn about it. Facebook, I will learn more about that. Social media can achieve a lot of things, such as communication is easier for us because since we are being limited to some extent through movement.
Topics discussed include tools on the social media for the disabled and influencing job opportunities. Muplan Dekok, NTA News.
Self-reliance and empowerment have been identified as vital tools necessary for the emancipation of youths from poverty and unemployment. This was the thrust at a one-day seminar with the theme Need for Good Governance. Fatima Aliyu reports that it was put together by a civil coalition group under the auspices of Global Initiative Harmony in Nigeria. Recent records from the National Bureau of Statistics indicate that Nigeria's population is over 170 million, with almost half of this figure made up of youths, most of whom are unemployed. Various administrations in the country have made concerted efforts to curb the menace. Concerned by this growing trend, the group Global Initiative for Harmony in Nigeria is advocating that youths must look inward, develop their potentials, and be good managers of resources.
But while in school, you try to learn one or two things, not to totally depend on your parents. And by so doing, by the time you graduate, you have something already there. You will not be depending on anybody.
There are a lot of people who are self-employed, the artisans who are all over the streets. By the time our youths will begin to imbibe that, being self-reliant, knowing who you are,
a good government begins from good citizenship. Each of us as Nigerians must take responsibility and govern ourselves properly from the individual level to the national level. A group which has been in the forefront of promoting harmonious relationship among Nigerians the last 1 year was also recognized by the National Association of Nigerian Students for various youth initiative programs. In Abuja, Fatima Ali, NTA News.
The Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission is collaborating with the National Lottery Regulatory Commission on how every Christian can visit the Holy Land without government sponsorship. This is in line with the present administration's desire to cut down on the cost of governance. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The Executive Secretary, NCPC, John Kennedy Opara, said the opportunity will come through Christian Pilgrims Lottery. He stressed that the vision behind the program is to encourage a new breed of Nigerians so that they will be channeled towards productivity and impact positively on the people and the nation.
We must begin to look at ourselves as men and women who can develop something. You must make up your mind to be a change agent.
Spiritually sound, principled, disciplined, to help build a progressive society.
we have challenged you and you didn't bend.
And thanks also for the NCPC for giving us the opportunity and the privilege to be the first to handle the youth pilgrimage with school acquisition.
There was prayer for sustenance of moral transformation and spiritual rebirth of all Nigerian youths who partook in the pilgrimage. Prayer for peace and security of Nigeria, the President, and all tiers of government in Nigeria.
We must also look beyond what we see to see what God has said for these last days. It is only God that will restore peace in our nation, Nigeria.
Certificates were presented to 5 groups for their outstanding performance.
It is the expectation of all that as the youth return to Nigeria, there will be examples for the youth and ambassadors of change they want to see in others. Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA.
Now to reports from across the globe. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe preaches peace in the world devoid of nuclear weapons as Japan remembers Hiroshima. Egypt expands Switzerland to increase in trade and traffic. Plus, bride price refund outlawed by top judges. Nancy Godi Anuniu has the details.
Residents in the Japanese city of Hiroshima are commemorating the 70th anniversary of the first atomic bomb dropped by a U.S. aircraft. The bomb, which killed at least 70,000 people, was followed by a similar one on Nagasaki after 3 days. In all, more than 140,000 died of horrific injuries caused by the radiation poisoning in days, weeks and months that followed. At a somber ceremony attended by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park, Mr. Abe appealed for a word of peace, saying the Hiroshima sad event is still influencing Japan's politics.
Now to sports updates. Nigeria's Super Eagles, now 53rd in the world, as organizers continue to allay fears on preparations for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. Kene Emma Bojike takes it from here.
There was upward movement for Nigeria's Super Eagles as they rose 4 places to 53rd position in the latest FIFA rankings released on Thursday. The three-time African champions were rated the 57th best team in the world last month when they dropped down 14 places. Nigeria still remains 10th best on the continent, with countries like Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Tunisia, Senegal and Cameroon ranked higher. Overall, Argentina maintains their number one spot. However, Belgium is now number 2. The top 5 is completed by Germany, Colombia and Brazil. Chile have entered the top 10 at the expense of the Netherlands, who dropped 7 places to 12th. Football stakeholders have called on corporate bodies and individuals to give maximum support towards the development of grassroots football in Nigeria in order to discover more talent. This came to the fore at the unveilings of a new logo for the Nigerian Nationwide League One, as well as Ifanyoba, proprietor of Nnewi-based Ifanyoba Football Club, as Payton Thursday in Abuja.
I believe we need to support the grassroots football because that's the bedrock of football development in Nigeria, and that's why we have to put us together.
Authorities in Brazil have continued to allay fears concerning the preparation for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games, with President Dilma Rousseff and the International Olympic Committee assuring that the city of Rio will deliver the best of games. Brazilian legend and three-time world footballer of the year, Ronaldo de Lima, has equally called for calm as Rio continues to fine-tune preparations for the games which begin August 5, 2016. With sports updates, Kenan Imabulike, NTA News.
And some world cities.